What's up? Welcome back, everybody, to the Rotation Show. This is our 8th episode, and we're very, very excited about our guest today. He is a very big player in the cannabis industry in California, so a lot of game going to be dropped, and we're excited to bring the information to you. So we're talking about Xotic Flavors from Humboldt County. They're legacy farmers that have been in the game for a long, long time. They are in dispensaries up and down the coast of California. They're doing collabs with big name celebrities, and maybe he'll let us know who or what. And and they have won multiple awards and featured in multiple magazines. They are the real deal and respected for it. So I want to welcome Cody and Nosh. What's going on?
That's an introduction right there.
Oh, you're welcome, man.
Yeah,
I've been working at it. Remember, this is episode 8.
It's getting better, baby.
So,
I appreciate that, man. Thank you for having us.
Oh, you're more than welcome. Thanks for coming down the hill. I know it's a long ways. And
it was, but it was good to get out, man. We needed the break for a little bit.
Yeah, it's good to stretch your legs, man.
It is. It's been busy. It's been a busy fucking year, so.
Yeah, it's for everybody.
It really has, bro.
It's so fast right now. The world is moving super fast, and we're even going to space and shit. So
yeah, and we're lucky
that fast.
Yeah, we're lucky to be busy. You know, that's a good problem.
Yeah, it's a very good problem.
Can we grow weed in space? Do you know?
I
don't know. I don't know the science
Gotta ask
behind
Elon for that shit. I have no clue.
Yeah, I
think they're doing it right now.
If we can grow anything, we can grow weed in space for sure. Weed is gonna grow.
It's a weed.
Yeah.
I definitely think it's a possibility.
I don't know if you're growing exotic flavors fire.
Probably no
on the
XF
moon,
exclusives, but they might have something.
Hey, at that point, it's up in the moon. I'll take some Mexican brick weed up there, dude. I don't give a fuck. Shit, as long as I'm high in space, that's
all I know is the transport fee is going to be high for that. They get the transport from Earth to here, please.
Logistics are not going to be in our favor.
The first
metric's going to be crazy.
The first astronaut that fucking ball sacks some weed up to space is gonna be my hero.
Some in there?
Yeah, like the old school days.
I want to be a hero then.
Yeah. So let's get right into it, man. The first question is, where are you from? What's the come up story? How did you get where you are, man?
So I'm lucky enough that I was born and raised in Honeydew, which is kind of when it comes to weed, I know everyone looks at Humboldt County. Anyone that's from there or been around the game up there, they know that Southern Humboldt's really where it's all at. That's where it's cracking, and that's where everything's produced. That's good. So Honeydew is kind of like in the center of Southern Humboldt. It's a small community. It's maybe 500-600 people kind of spread over like a 10-mile radius. There's a general store. There's a school, and that's where I went to school growing up, kindergarten through like 8th grade, 7th grade. It's a different fucking world though, man. It's like we don't really have any law enforcement that comes out there. We don't really have anything that caters to us. So anything we want done, we're kind of left to do on our own, whether it's policing or it's just everything. You want something to eat, you're going to have to make it yourself. You know, it's a different environment out there, but it shaped us to be really hard workers, and it shaped us into thinking outside of the box. You know what I mean? We're not influenced by other people as much, so we don't really have like outside influence coming into us, so it kind of is a cool thing because it forces us to kind of create our own authentic culture. And you know, we're not really like watching TV and all that kind of thing to influence us so much out there because we don't have as much of that out there.
That's good. You guys are remote.
It is. We're remote. We have luxuries and things we need. It's not like we're camping. We have everything. But so I was born in Honeydew. I lived there my whole life. At about 14, my dad. So basically, I can actually let me go back a little bit. The reason we got into Honeydew was my father, who passed away when I was 14. Back in the day, I'm 32 now. So when I was growing up, and I was born in the late 80s, growing up in the 90s and everything, I thought everyone did what we did. We lived in Honeydew. We were sheltered. We hid. We didn't tell anyone what we did. My old man grew weed. They ran around the hills and everything like that. And so I grew up kind of in a bubble that's kind of hard to explain, but we were just super sheltered from the outside world. And we were in this little community of pot growers, and every friend my dad had was a pot grower, and everyone I went to school with, their parents grew weed.
So it was in the whole community. It was in the culture.
Bro, if you lived there,
weed was the culture.
It was the backbone of everything. Every single kid who was in my class from kindergarten, 1st, 2nd, 3rd grade, their parents grew weed, whether it was with my parents or that was it. Because that's the only reason people lived out there. I mean, Truly, that's the only
You guys
reason people
had
were
that
out there.
free. When I said remote, all I heard was just pure freedom to do whatever you wanted.
It is freedom, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Now it's a little bit like that. Growing up, it wasn't like that because we weren't free to do what we're doing now. You know what I mean? So it was a much different than it is now. Now it's fun. We're riding around with pounds on a dirt bike and shit. Back then, it wasn't as free as that. You know, you had a lot more to be scared of. But yeah. So I grew up there. It was really sheltered, and I was just kind of absorbed in the Humboldt lifestyle. Like, we just did what everyone does out there. My parents grew weed, and that was kind of what it was. It kind of made me not really realize what a special place I was in. So then in about 2010 was kind of around the time when like light dep started coming onto the scene, when people started pulling tarps on greenhouses and things.
Right.
And at the same time, I had moved away to school. I went to Chico to go to college in Butte. So 2010, 11, and in the beginning of 2012, I was like, I need to get out of Humboldt. You know, I didn't really know what I was going to do with my life. And the second I left and I was walking around other counties and other cities with like a Humboldt County shirt on, everyone would come up to me and be like, oh, where's all the pounds at? Where's all the packs? Where's everything at? So I'm over there trying to go to school, and like every dude on the football team was like trying to give me money to run home and get them quarter pounds and shit.
Hell yeah.
So a year into it, I'm just like, fuck, like it kind of like a light bulb went off in my head, and I was like, damn,
There's value.
Humboldt Honeydew is really cool. Like, why did I came to school to make a career, and I may have just left that. So then in 2012, I had, like I said, my father passed away. So he had a friend who was just this old redneck fucking like gangster ass redneck dude. He's been like indicted in multiple murders from people that had fucked with him on his farm. Like, he's just this hardcore fucking dude. And so he came to me and was like, hey, why don't you, because I had been talking to people, I wanted to leave school. And so he came to me in 2012 and offered me a job. And I said, I'll leave school right now, but I want to do deps. And at that point, no one was really doing light deps, because that meant you had to have a greenhouse and you had to have it out in the open and you had to pull covers on it and shit. And it was a more risk, but the reward was way better.
There's
the quality,
risk and investment and time.
the capital to get it going. You got to build a greenhouse.
Yep.
I mean, I don't know how many of the listeners know what real light dep is, but that's basically you're taking a greenhouse and you're tricking it into thinking the hours of light are fall hours. So you're pulling tarps on it to mimic that. So it'll be 12 hours of darkness, 12 hours of light, which is basically fast forwarding to October. So your plants are constantly in flower. And this was something that I had been like drooling over. I was jealous of all my friends that were doing it while I was going to school.
What were you studying in school? What was your major? Did
Just
you
doing my marketing and general ed.
Cool.
I've always been good at selling weed and selling things. So when I went there, I was like, I want to just sell shit. I didn't really know what my direction was. And so I'm over there going to school and shit. And then that's when I really realized, like, fuck, I'm wasting my time in school when really I'm here to learn my career and a path in life. And that's what I'm walking away from.
What year was that?
2010, 11, 12.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah, so that was like when I was 21, 22, 23, somewhere in that age.
And that was right when they started pulling tarps.
I started seeing pounds from my friends that they were selling for $3,000 a pound. And back then, you know, outdoor was only like, you know, 15, 1600 even at that time. So I was like, fuck, and they're harvesting 3 times a year, selling it for twice as much. So 2012, I dropped out of school. I got most of my general ed done. Yeah. But I just realized it was a waste of time.
Same here.
It really, really was. My teacher was making like $60,000 a year. Mm-hmm. I made that. You know what I mean? Like, come on. So I did the math, and I realized that. So
that in a quarter.
I left, and 2012 I moved back, and I built a greenhouse, and it was right off the road. Like, you could see it from the county road. It was the.
This was in Honeydew?
This was in Honeydew, right off the county road. Now, if you go to Honeydew, you're going to see acres of fucking weed everywhere. Wow. But I was the first one, me and my boys, that like did it right off the road. We just crossed our fingers and we're like, fuck it, we're going to do it. So we did it and it worked. We did it again and it worked. And I started to gain some traction in the community of like being able to cultivate, and we kind of knew what we were doing. So in 2015, there was an older couple that lived down the road, and they had a farm that they were just, I'm not going to say failing, but they didn't really have a grasp on what to do. So they invited me to come and help. And I ran it for 1 year. And at the end of the year, and I was 24, they were like, why don't you just buy it from us? So they gave me the option to buy it, and I bought it from them. And that was end of 2014, rolling into 2015, I closed escrow. 2016, Prop 64 hit. Wow. So I had just bought this farm at 24 years old. It was all flat, prime ag, PG&E, which is rare in Honeydew. Yeah. Like, it was fucking ready to go. And when I left school in Chico, I knew that Prop 64 was coming, and I knew legal weed was around the corner. Mm-hmm. So for me, being young and ambitious like I was like, I want a legal weed farm. Like, this is what I'm going to do. You know, we're already here. We're already doing this. We were already growing industrial weed. Let's run it. So,
makes sense.
Like 2016, bro, I took every dollar I made. I went up to Eureka, which is the town north of us a little bit. And I got some recommendations on some attorneys that were supposed to help with the licensing process and permitting. And I walked in there with like $50,000 and I just gave it to them. And I said, hold this. I want a legal weed farm. You know, here's some money. Let's get it going. And that's really all I did, bro. I just like that. I went up there, just talked to some attorneys. We started getting the paperwork going. I've been blessed with, you know, knowing the right people and knowing who to talk to and who to go. And I was just super persistent and shit like that. And so in 2016, when Prop 64 hit, I got my farms permitted with an interim permit, which basically gave us we could legally grow weed. We didn't have our annual licenses, but in 2016, we were legally growing weed. So
how did it work with the city? So like obviously the county. So
we're not in the cities.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So we're only dealing with the county. Yeah.
Got it.
It's unincorporated.
Okay, that's what I was wondering.
Yeah.
So only the county controls. You don't have to worry about getting these things from city like Sacramento.
No, and part of it, bro, I'll be honest, like this is all in the past. Now we were, and I'm saying this with air quotes, legal. We were still fighting and we were still cutting corners and doing. I mean, as of only a couple years ago, we actually got our annuals and we're actually, you know what I mean, actually up to par with everything. But back until then, they were kind of just looking the other way. You know, as long as you were paying your square footage taxes and your state licensing, then it's a money game, bro. Everyone wants to make money. The county and the state included. And so what we've been good at is showing them that, hey, let us make money and we're going to help you guys make money. They're taxing us for every square foot we're growing on. The state's taxing me for every license. The city or the county's taxing me for every sales tax. It's an impending thing that never ends. So it's like, hey, there's money to be made. We can make it. Do you guys want some of it or not? And that's kind of why we've got a good thing going with the county right now, that we're generating tax revenue and bringing money back into the community that we live in. I mean, 6 years ago, you could barely drive out there because the roads were so bad. And after the last 4 years of legal weed, I mean, we have brand new roads. Our roads are getting repaved. There's a lot of money that's coming back into home, and we're seeing it.
That must feel good.
It does. It does. It really does.
Being raised there, coming back there, you know, building, like, that's incredible.
Yeah.
That's gotta feel good.
Yeah. So 2016, it kind of everything started taking off. At that time, I knew that, like, okay, now that we got the farm going, we got to figure out where we're going to fucking go with this. So I was sitting there one day and I like 2016, because 2016 was when we started Xotic Flavors. Oh, cool. And I was sitting there like thinking of all these farm names, and like Honeydew Farms was my neighbor. They were really big. There's one of the homies. There was this farm, that farm, you know. So I'm sitting there and I'm like, fuck, what are we going to do? And I had just bought some weed at the dispensary and it was from Cookies. So I'm just sitting there like this and I'm like smoking some weed in my living room. And I always thought just Cookies grew weed. I didn't know. So I'm looking at the back and it's like cultivated by blah, 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 blah. So in my head, I'm like, that doesn't make sense. So then I was like, oh, the brand, and then there's the farm. So that's when I, 5 years ago, made the separation in my mind. Because if I'm just a farm, I'm that farm. I wanted more farms. I knew I wasn't going to be to one farm. Yeah. So if I just call myself Cody King Farm, that's that farm. You know, you're limiting yourself. And if I went with the Humboldt County name, like everyone does, you're limiting yourself to a geographic location. It's like... Humboldt can only be used so many fucking times. Right. So since day one, bro, I was like, I want to do something different. I want to be a brand, but like not the same as my neighbor. And because everyone's doing the same shit. And so I was looking at that Cookies bag and I noticed that it was a brand, but it was cultivated by a different LLC. So that's when I was kind of like, I can make something that's more than just a farm. And so that's why I have Xotic Flavors trademarked as kind of an umbrella for all the farms. So all the farms I'm running, some of them have different LLCs, but it's all Xotic Flavors. So whenever anything goes to market, instead of me having to do multiple different sub-brands or whatever, everything's Xotic Flavors. Right. And as we've been progressing, next year I'm taking over 3 more farms. Wow. And all 3 farms are all different license, but it's all going to be Xotic Flavors. So the way I have it structured, I can umbrella everything under it.
Yeah, that's great. And that's all just stuff that's, you know, grown by you.
Yeah, it's all of our cultivation. all of it, Right. None of it, awesome. We're not white labeling anything. Yeah, that's great. Every single bud that's on the table here or in any of our bags was grown in Honeydew by us.
That's great.
Yeah. That's badass, man.
Yeah.
And that's
some things a lot of people can't take.
A lot of people can't say either.
Can't say.
Appreciate that. Yeah,
that's good.
I've known from the beginning, dude, that like this is what I tell people. It's like it's easier for me to turn what I'm doing into a real business than people from the outside world to come in and do what we've been doing for years and years. I use alcohol kind of for an example. Let's say me and Nacho here were like, me and him drink fucking every weekend we're getting shitty drunk. But let's say this is prohibition era, okay? So alcohol is illegal. So me and him, just like how it was with weed 5 years ago, weed was illegal. So everyone's smoking weed, whatever. So I know nothing about alcohol, okay? But if me and him drink all the time and then all of a sudden prohibition's lifted and oh my God, liquor is now legal, does that mean that I can just go and start a liquor company? Not really. Just because I drank a lot of it doesn't mean. And this is no offense to anyone out there, but it's not like that. You know what I mean? So
no, it's true.
It's the same thing with weed. Weed Prop 64 hit in 2016. Everyone's like, oh, weed's legal, I'm gonna start a weed brand. We were already a weed brand. We were already a marijuana company for decades before that.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's easier for me to adapt to a business setting and basically take off my dirty boots and put on some clean clothes and go in and land some sales than it is for someone to go take off a suit and tie, move out to the hills, learn how to drive a truck, learn how to back up a trailer, learn how to work all day, learn how to grow fucking weed, do the shit we do. That's damn near impossible.
And
I can
think
easily adapt to their setting. It's not as easy vice versa.
They can't do what you do. And what you do is lineage. It's been passed down from generation to generation at this point.
I'll agree with you on that, but a lot of it though is the opposite. A lot of it is a lot of people have that mindset of, well, this is how I've been doing it. We don't have that. We're constantly adapting. You can tell me what I'm doing is wrong, and I'm going to listen to you and hear what you have to say.
Right.
Versus so many of these legacy farmers that are saying, nope, this is the best way to grow.
Right.
My brother-in-law is a big influence on me with that because he's very open-minded. He's like I was telling you guys before the show, he came from a background, and he's my foreman for cultivation he has no marijuana in his past, you know what I mean?
Right.
So it's cool because I have me who thinks I know everything, and and then you have someone that's a green thumb in the industry, so you can bounce off each other's ideas, kind of yin and yang. It's hard to explain, but it's like that good cop, bad cop type thing. Like I have my way of thinking on things that, oh, this is going to work. And then he has his ways, and then it balances out. And we find kind of a happy medium.
Yeah, you guys play off each other's strengths right there. And that's the feng shui that any company needs with partners or anything
Just
like
because
that.
I think something is dope doesn't mean everyone else is.
Right.
So you have to remember that.
And you need a partner that'll check you on that. Say, hey, nah, that's not.
Exactly, dude.
Let's think on that. Give it 2 days. Just give it 2 days.
That's
and then you come back
right.
and you're like, oh, shit. Yeah, that's not a good idea. Let's not do that.
For sure.
So.
But no, and since then, dude, it's just been we've just been picking up more farms and cause especially with how the industry is now with prices low, a lot of people are not able to make it, and so for us it's cutthroat right now, and so we've been capitalizing on finding people that are hurting and kind of coming in and taking over their farms and turning loss into profit.
That's really good. It sounds like you're helping a lot of people that weren't able to do what you kind of did.
Yeah,
and you're getting them up to par. And
having like a circle of people that like owe you favors and you're working with, and like not necessarily owe you favors, but when you have a circle that you've grown with since the beginning, everybody's looking out for each other and shit, and that's kind of what we have going on now. So
that's awesome, because I've heard horror stories from up the hill that a lot of like mom and pop farms are going out of business. They thought that they can get through the licensing. Once they get through the licensing, they said like one part of the county up there is not gonna allow weed grow weed up there.
They do it by regions too. There's coastal like there's a lot of areas that won't even allow it. Like Fortuna, where I was telling you,
and a lot of people went up there, spent the money, bought the land, and then couldn't. Then that law passed.
That's what I was telling you at the beginning of the show was when it comes to Humboldt, you think but really, Southern Humboldt, you're not really cultivating up in.
Northern
you said Arcata or HSU, like you're not growing weed up in those
area.
Areas. Yeah, not at all. No.
That's the Redwoods touristy area.
So it's the microclimate that we're in. So in order to get to the farm, you go through the redwood, which is the most ancient redwood forest in the world. And some of those trees are like 160, 180 feet tall. And so we have the coast on one side, and then we're surrounded by almost like a shape of a boomerang of redwoods that lock us in. So we have a microclimate, and
that's my shit, dude. That's the shit I like to visit. I'm coming up.
You got to.
I'm coming up.
That's cool.
It's a different world, man.
That's dope, dude. That that is fucking what that is. Takes me to my next question, dude. What is a legacy farmer? in your definition? In your opinion?
I mean, I think I just kind of explained that.
Oh, okay.
I'm just kidding. I just think that it's...
That kind of is.
I think there's a term. I think a lot of people...
Yeah.
It doesn't necessarily mean... Okay, this is the way I would look at it. A legacy farmer, in my opinion, doesn't necessarily mean, hey, your parents grew weed or you came from... Because you could create... You could be a legacy farmer, in my opinion, first generation. If you're truly living the life and you're profiting and the lifestyle that you're living came from cannabis, then I would consider you to be a legacy farmer.
Right.
Because there's a lot of people get in this industry that already had money from something else and they rolled that money over into this to start something up. That's cool. And you're getting in the industry. A real legacy farmer, in my opinion, is someone that has started from nothing. They respect the plant. They've seen what it can do and it's done that for them and made them money and they've profited from that versus spending mom and dad's money or spending, and you have your buyer, your investor, you're spending their money, but actually growing weed and doing it doing a good job at it and that product moving and you profiting from that. I mean, to me, that's kind of what it really is, you know? Yeah. It doesn't necessarily mean, oh, your mom and dad grew 20 years ago. I have a cool backstory from what my dad did. And there's a lot of guys out there that have similar stories like that, but they don't have half the respect I have for the industry, you know? So it doesn't really mean that you're a legacy farmer because you came from a background of it. I feel more that is your life. That's what you're living, and you're paid from weed, and your kids are eating from cannabis money. You know what I mean? Like,
and you're building a legacy,
and you're building a legacy that's going to be there for your kids and things like that. That like makes when sense. It really comes to this, from the bottom of my heart, 100%, dude. This is what I will be doing for the rest of my life. I had one job. I washed dishes at Applebee's when I was like 16, 17. That's it. Yeah. Like I don't have like a plan B. Oh, if this doesn't work, we're gonna do that. Like we're gonna do this.
So you've been growing since high school or since elementary. I mean,
so like when I grew up, since
Applebee's. But I wanted to ask though, what were your strains back then? What
like
were
Northern Lights, Afghani Kush, old school grain,
nice.
And that's the thing is, I wish my dad was alive now to ask him, you know what I mean? Because when he died, I was 14. So a lot of these things, like I'm hearing secondhand stories and things, but I was kind of a kid, you know? Right. I was mostly what I would do was we would lie and tell like people, oh, we're going to go feed the horse, or like say you're going to go do something else. And then they would grow up in trees a lot back then. So like you wouldn't really have like a big outdoor patch. You would grow up into like these big fir trees. You go 20, 30 feet up and build almost like a tree house. And then they would put the plants up in the trees. So when the helicopters flew around, they wouldn't see, because the helicopter's looking at the ground. So when you look in a cluster of canopy of trees, you're not going to see a few plants scattered around. Yeah. Right. So what we would do is we would go out in the woods. It'd be my dad and like 5 Russian guys. We'd be in all fucking camo. I'm serious, dude. And we would ride 4-wheelers up, hike up in the woods, and we would use like, you know, the red plastic gas cans you can buy like at the gas station and shit. We would buy those for nutrients, mix nutrients in them. So all these trees would have ropes hanging down. And we would go, and I would sit there with a bunch of other little kids or whatever, and we would run around and down at the trees while the grown-ups were up in the trees. And then they would send the ropes down, and we would tie them around the gas can containers, and then they would pull them up, and then they'd come back down empty. And then we would untie it and tie it to a full one, and that's how we would feed our plants and stuff up in the trees.
That's fucking badass, bro.
Bro, like
I've never heard of that before. I didn't know people growing in the trees. That's sick.
So we're working on a project now with the county. And a lot of it is you have to prove pre-existing. So the county wants to see where you grew. So like 3 months ago, I went with officials from the county on a property that we're getting permitted, and we hiked around and showed them all the old spots.
Shit.
But we would be doing it, and you would just hear like the womp womp in the background, and it would be camp helicopters, and we would fucking run. We'd have to go down and hide under the rocks by the creek, like from August until September, October, like my whole life. That's what it would be.
Wow. That's a rush, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, how high up in the tree did you guys go?
I mean, like 20, 30, 40 feet. They'd go far.
Wow.
Far, dude.
And so, okay.
You have to understand, back then, you get caught with one and like guys like my dad and the people, they were all felons. They had all been to prison for growing weed. They were all felons. So this, like, you get caught with one plant back then, you were going to prison. So if you had to go 40 feet in a fucking tree, you had to go 40 feet in the tree.
How did they get up there? Were there steps?
You ever see like cork boots? Yeah, they would build little things or like get some cork boots, climb trees and shit. And
shit.
Bro, if you have the right boots, you can climb a tree.
To do that, right?
You could do it. If you had the right boots, you just throw a strap around and you can go up. And then they'd build ledges and you get a rope and you'd pull new. I mean, they got real creative. You had to do what you had to do.
I can imagine, dude. Because that's a daily, maybe not daily to water, but everybody you gotta check it every day.
Well, and when you have it like that, you get maybe 20 plants done in a day, and then you're having to go the next day and get the other ones and shit. And
so you could fit like 20 plants in one tree?
Not even. No, you do a few, bro. Just a
so
few.
How many trees did you guys have to climb 40 feet up in the air to?
A lot. I can't even answer that.
That's all day.
It was a lot, bro. Yeah.
Then you fucking drop them when they're done.
It makes it, and then they'd bring them the gas cans we would untime and shit. But it makes you appreciate today
how far you've come.
Yeah.
Did you ever have anybody just like kind of cruise by, like as you guys were doing that shit, just like random ass people?
No, there's no random people out there.
Nobody.
Yeah. We didn't have many random people.
If anybody's there, you're questioning that shit.
Yeah.
Who the fuck are you?
Just having to stumble
So the way I
across
grew up, if anyone ever did, because we grew up down 9 miles down block gates and dirt road and everything, and you were
deep.
There was no random people driving by.
Yeah,
right.
Ever.
Yeah, one person.
You're not from around
their
here,
way
are you?
in.
Shit. No, I'm not, sir.
9 miles back that way.
I got lost like 20 miles ago. Can you please send me out of here?
That's crazy.
God. That's
I
nuts,
wish we had
man.
some land like that out here. Damn, you can't even get like 10,000 square foot lot.
Right.
That's why it's called the Lost Coast up there.
Yeah, that's right.
The Lost
The most
Coast.
undeveloped strip of California coastline.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So I want to. Did anybody hand you down any strains?
Unfortunately, no.
No. No saved seeds or dad told me.
The only I wish I did, but like over years they deteriorate,
Right.
And I was running around doing everything I was doing for you. I wasn't foreseeing all of this that long ago, so I don't have any like held on. I have some strains I've had for like 7 years, 6 years, and shit like that, but really, dude, it's not about that. Because whatever was cool back then isn't cool now. Right. And like the whole legacy farmer, coming back to that, is a lot of them have this mindset of the way they've been doing it is the right way and the best way. And we don't have that, Like, obviously, I think we're the best cultivators in the world. Right. But like, as far as greenhouse cultivation, we really have that down. But the strains we have are always going to be changing. That's always evolving. You know what I mean?
So what's your favorite strain going right now?
The Cartel.
Cartel
cut, hands down. That's the one. Like for me, moving product and anyone listening that buys product or is traps or anything, purple gassy shit is all people really want. And it sucks to say because as a heavy smoker myself, I like a variety. I like choices. But what's moving in stores is purple gas, bro. And that's purple gas. That's what the Cartel really is.
With some nice bud structure and
it has the calyxy structure. Yeah, they all come to a point. There's like a few boxes as a cultivator. There's 4 main things that the product has to check. It has to look good. It's got to smell good. It has to test because I know it's for a lot of people the test results, but there's some like gelatos that just don't test. It has to test at least in the 20s, and then it has to have some sort of a good yield. Right. So if it looks good, smell good, tests good, and yields good, then that's kind of like what we're looking for, and that checks all those boxes right there.
That's dope.
And the main thing is the demand, bro. Like there's a lot of strains I would love to grow that are easy and they produce and this and that, but if the market doesn't want it, then I don't want to grow it.
The market doesn't want it. Yeah.
That's part of why we're like finding more success than a lot of other cultivators right now, is because we're down to adapt and change and fuck it. I guess we're not growing that and we're going to grow this and let's do this and that and changing with the times. And if you have to do, that's why we're not sitting on product these days.
Right.
I'll give you big facts. It's taken literally 5 to 7 days on recreational shelf for us to sell out on the Cartel cut. Wow. It's been our #1 seller over the past 2 months.
I see shit in dispensaries to be there for months sometimes too.
And we've been really super excited to bring the Cartel cut out. Like I said, 5 to 7 days, bro, and we've sold out in every shop. And it's been pushing really hard. Yeah, no, for sure.
It's fire.
It definitely hits the points.
With there being weed out all over the state, and like it's obviously much more accessible down in Santa Barbara, LA, I know that we have to have something that's better and different. Right. Because if it's not different or it's not better, why would people come all the way up to Honeydew to get product? Or why would they go buy our product? Because there's so much competition. So that's like the main thing with all of these strains you see out here. I mean, the Bambino, the Cartel, the Birkins, everything we drop, the honeydew, all of it usually is pretty exclusive, you know, because if you can get it from someone else, why would you come and get it from us?
Yeah, because a lot of people are growing down the hill now.
Exactly. Yeah. So we gotta do everything we can to bring the market to us.
Yeah, that's a great point.
And Humboldt has always had the reputation since I was a kid. Whenever anybody brought Humboldt weed, it was grown so well. It was sticky, and it was like that coal burning bud, like lasts a long time. You can pass it all around and around and strong.
Doesn't crackle and shit. And
and Humboldt always
our environment is better
for that. That's stuck in my brain and plenty other people in my generation.
So here's something kind of funny is people argue, oh, it's not true. Humboldt doesn't really grow better weed. So check it out. Man. When I was living in Chico, going to school, I was also working that summer in honeydew. Okay, so I took some genetics from honeydew. Same clones, and I took the nutrients that I was using at the farm in honeydew, and I brought those over to Chico because I was going back and forth like 3 days a week. So I had the exact same strains going simultaneously, same stage in their life cycle, same exact nutrients, same everything. The ones that I grew on Eastern California got twice as big, maybe 3 times as big, but the buds were just round, no terpene profile, just big round, empty buds, you know what I mean? Right. The ones that I grew in honeydew were smaller, but they were sticky, they had structure, they had smell, they had taste. It's that environment, what it really comes down to is cold nights and hot days.
Cold nights and hot days.
And that's really what we get over there. Like over here at night, if it's 100 degrees, it's going to be hot at night still.
So I do have
during the summertime
does cool down pretty quickly.
I've grown weed around here. It's hotter, a lot hotter at night.
I'm sure more than
especially if you have greenhouses.
But
out there it will drop 50 degrees, 40 degrees at night even. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that brings out those pretty colors, the vibrant colors.
Yeah.
It brings out unique terpene profiles. Stress brings out the best in plants. And when you have it too easy for them, they're just gonna fucking like just grow and do their thing. When you stress them out and you put them through more like trials and things we do out there, it makes a better product.
That's what's
like
up.
Human.
I wonder.
Just like humans.
So I wonder, your dad. How did they know that the environment up there was perfect and to go there and to kind of?
That was luck. So
that's luck.
That
right?
was luck, bro.
Because that's
and
fucking
people can say. So basically, when the Haight-Ashbury, the 1960s, when all that was going on, the free love and all that in San Francisco. When that was ending and dying out, all those people needed a place. They wanted to go and start the whole back to the land movement.
Yeah.
And that's what a lot of my parents, my friends' parents, all the old timers in 60s and 70s, they're all hippies that kind of migrated,
anti-government,
looking for an area, to start. I mean, Charlie Manson was living up there, like people that were seeking a refuge from the like corporate common world and trying to find somewhere that they could make their own. And so it just turned out that happened to be Mendocino, Humboldt County, Trinity up there, and we got lucky that what they chose to do flourished into where it is now, you know. Right. And a lot of that is due to the environment and the secrecy, and the seclusion we had up there. Because part of how we got away with it was just you were so fucking secluded, and
right.
There's a lot of factors. A lot of it just a big good luck or a blessing or whatever you want to call it. Just the stars were aligned for it.
It was perfect.
It really was.
It's perfect
but
for
the heart to keep it going too.
Yeah,
I mean that.
True.
That could have been it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just finding being able to adapt to roll over from there into where it is now and turning it into something profitable.
Hey, but one thing you told me before we started the podcast was seedless weed came from Humboldt County. Not Humboldt County, but up northern.
Yeah, that's what put us on the map. Coast, was having Sensimilla back in the early 70s, late 60s.
Seedless green bud.
Seedless bud. I've heard stories from a lot of people, like, for years, our parents' age and shit like that, when they were buying weed, it was usually Colombian brickweed. And we're young, so we didn't experience it. But really, if you bought like a lid, was what it was called in the old days, which was 2 fingers, you would pick out 80 seeds. So you're spending half your time picking out seeds. So when my dad and his friends in the like 1970s, 1971 got a cut of Sensimilla, I mean, it was a game changer, and they knew that it was going to turn into something at one point.
Yeah. That's fucking dope. I mean, the pothead who pulled the male from the female plant for the first time and fucking didn't get any seeds.
Not all potheads are stupid.
I know. Some
of them are extremely smart.
I'm actually taking it the other way.
Yeah.
That smart motherfucker who thought outside the box and pulled the let's try this. You know what I mean?
And that really was what made Humboldt, in my opinion, you're going to get different stories from people, but like that really was what put them on the map. Was they had something better that no one else really had. And then on top of that, you had all these people already migrating up there and, trying to get out of the city life and look for somewhere to start a farm and homestead and everything. And it's like, fuck, you want a homestead? Now there's weeds on the market. It was just this, like I said, the stars were just aligned perfectly,
Are people moving up there? Are your cities starting to grow?
A lot of that is because HSU now just got they're going to be a polytech. So they got a $600 million grant.
Wow.
And so they're building housing for like 30, which sucks for a lot of us.
But still, that's far. Like that.
It's far away from me though. Where no one's ever going to come and live where we are.
Yeah, because they're by that's in Arcata, right? Humboldt.
Yeah, that's up north. Yeah, we're in southern Humboldt.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's still an hour and 45 minutes north of us. There is a lot more people, and what I've been hearing too is this global warming. Because has it been raining here?
A little bit.
It's been pouring. It's been pouring in Humboldt for a month.
But
2
when
months
it
now.
does rain, it rained actually enough.
It rains a lot
for a whole year.
Tore some shit off.
Yeah.
We just have a lot of water up there and shit like that, and so there's things like that, the global warming, that are factors that are going to contribute to more people coming.
But I feel like like tech workers and people that are actually flooding up to Sacramento right now, I could only imagine a good chunk of them are going up to the mountains, finding a space, getting good internet, and doing the remote
working from home and shit like that. Yeah, there's a lot.
You know where I think a lot of them are going though is Tahoe. Because they got the bread to go. Oh, let me go right on.
But still, a lot of people want they want the remoteness. They want to get away from the city, the crowd.
Yeah.
And they have the money to spend. They go buy a cabin in the woods up there and just do their thing.
Yeah, that's where a lot of it stems from. I mean, really.
And they're probably starting to live off the land, grow their own gardens, things like that.
For 2 weeks, and they're like, "Fuck, this is
I'm going to
Whole Foods, Amazon Prime.
There's no DoorDash here. My house. I don't know what to eat anymore.
No lights outside.
Yeah,
it takes some getting used to.
Yeah. Fuck, man, you guys can fucking hunt your own deer out there. That's fucking, know what to do.
10 feet out there.
I bet, dude, all I gotta say, man, I'm hungry. Somebody go out there, fucking get one, bring it in.
You don't even know.
Or just go
you don't even know.
The deep freeze got all the cuts.
Dogs will get you the deer.
The deep freeze has all the cuts. It's ready to go.
Oh man,
you guys are probably stocked up like a year or two in meat. Or
we're always stocked up, bro.
That's badass.
And if all my friends, my guys that work for me, like whenever they get off of work, they're always going and shooting pigs, shooting deer, bringing it back. We just cleaned a deer. One of the guys that works for me out there, like 2 weeks ago, we just hung it from the fucking basketball hoop and we gutted a deer out there with all the guys and everyone ate it. Feed it to all the trimmers and shit.
You guys are living off the land.
We get some of the crazy shit. Like we'll get some of those Vietnamese and the Laotian trimmers, and we had just went out, it was 2 years ago, and someone shot a pig and it was fucking pregnant. So we cut it open, all the baby, and all the Asian trimmers ate all the baby, all the undeveloped fetuses and shit. We get some wild shit.
You went delicacy for them. They're like, shit.
There's a lot of deer and pigs and turkeys.
I thought this was illegal in America. This is awesome.
Not in Honeydew.
It's not.
The lawless land. That's badass, though.
It really is.
So you guys got generators ready to go?
Yeah, so we have all that. Everything's wired. We have 150K generators and shit. I'm lucky enough that we're off the main road, so we have PG&E and everything too. So
that's dope.
Yeah,
so
that is nice.
So
when there's storm, we have backup power and everything. But
that's cool. You probably even have space for solar. I don't know if solar is the best.
It's not. It doesn't generate enough.
No. Can I interest you in some solar?
Yeah.
Hello. Maybe for the house.
How about a windmill?
I'll rent it to you.
Some wind turbines actually would be better, but.
That's cool, man.
That's awesome.
I wanted to talk a little more into the cannabis industry, and I want to know your thoughts on what are the pros, what are the cons of the industry, and what can remedy some of the cons, if any. Like,
maybe dive deeper on that for me.
I'm talking all the way from taxation and all the regulations going into what goes into a cultivation site. Some things are probably overkill. There's absolutely no reason for that license or that permit but money.
There's a lot of shit that is unnecessary that you have to go through.
Right.
And I'm not even trying to act like it's anything great, but a lot of it is necessary. Like people in our industry just aren't used to having to answer to anybody.
Right.
But I'm not, but in order to start a real business and to form a real anything, you have to answer to somebody, you have to pay your taxes, you have to follow the rules, and a lot of it is just a lot of it's just like necessary things that you should be doing, ADA bathrooms or steps that you can take to keep your employees safer, things like that. A lot of it though is just fucking thievery. A lot of this shit is whack.
Yeah.
But
it is.
But really, a lot of it, dude, is necessary. You have to have a lot of the things that they're requiring is necessary to keep yourself safe and your employees safe.
Yes. At the same time, they fucking don't let you bank. You can
bank with the credit union, but usually they're gonna, like, for ours, we bank with one and they charge me $1,000 a month flat rate.
That's about that.
Just to even have an account.
But on top of
put money in there.
On top of that, though, they end up getting too many clients and they shut it. They cut it off, right?
Yeah, then they'll shut you. Yeah,
cut it off, and then you got to wait for the next ballsy bank to open.
I've been doing that for 5 years now.
Yeah,
right.
Kicked out, you move your funds. Kicked out, move your funds.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm not going to complain. I'm growing weed legally, dude.
Right, you're doing what you love.
I don't mind hiding. I don't mind having cash. I mean, a lot of what we're doing now is just like if we're working with a big distribution company, they'll pay us in cash, and then you'll get like an 8300 form or like a cash acknowledgement, and then you have 10 days. So you could go somewhere and sell 500 pounds of weed, pick up $500,000, and it's perfectly legal. You can go take that and buy anything you want for your farm. You just have to report that to the IRS.
That's dope.
Big knowledge spill.
That's
it's
the
true,
point.
though.
That's what we're trying to get.
Because people always come up and say, "Oh, how'd you go buy that for your farm?" Well, it's easy. You just, when you receive that cash, you notify the IRS. You say, "Hey, you guys, I just picked up all this money from this company over here. I'm just letting you know I'm going to go spend it." The second you do that, whether they like it or not, there's nothing they can really do about it at that point.
Yeah.
As long as you're reporting everything you're collecting, and that's what we've been doing for years.
That's good.
Yeah.
Damn.
That's awesome.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and
dropping some game.
Yeah, you guys are doing it big when you're doing it.
You just got to treat your cash like it's a debit card.
So
just
can
have
I
the
interest you in
paperwork
solar? sounded like
shit.
Like shit. All right, that's some good.
I'll be there at
Right?
8.
Now to have more sponsors.
No, that's awesome.
So
like that.
who you guys got collabs going on with right now, man?
So right now we work a lot with the homies Xotics, Matt Shotwell
cool.
and them.
Yeah.
So I ran into those guys like a year and a half ago. And I kind of just thought they had a cool vibe. They're doing something different,
Totally.
So I reached out to them and contacted them and said, "Hey, let's do a collab. I'll fill your jars. You guys rep me a little bit. Let everyone know who cultivated it." So we've been doing that for a few years. We've ran through a bunch of weed. We went through probably 300 dispensaries together, and
dope.
It's been cool. Yeah, it's been a growing process. We have another one coming up. We were just contacted by Joe Xotic's Power of Attorney from Tiger King. Season 2 drops November 17th.
Yeah, he's got a second season.
Season 2 is coming out.
Carol Baskin's coming back.
So we're actually dropping a Baskin strain. Actually,
shit!
Forbes ran an article about it. My friend, he's my boy Josh Anderson from down there with the THC group. He kind of quarterbacked the whole thing. What up, Josh? Cool. And he reached out. It's kind of funny. Exotic Flavors, Joe Exotic. We're like, let's run the Joe Exotic collab as a joke. Yeah. And it actually turned into like his power of attorney reached out with him. We actually went down to Las Vegas for the launch party and lined a bunch of things up. We got it pretty finalized, even down to the packaging. They're shipping us to packaging. I think he said 4 days. Actually, I talked to him earlier.
Yes, sir.
And so we're gonna do the THC group and Josh and them are gonna kind of run a lot of the promotional for it. But it's a collab where it's got Joe Exotic on the bag with all the tigers and shit. Our logos on it. It's fun, dude. It's just
sick.
Yeah,
that's so fucking mainstream, bro.
Yeah, that's kind of the thing is we're gonna drop the season 2 comes out on the 17th, and then we're gonna try and drop the first launch by December 1st. So kind of the timing will be kind of good, getting the hype back with the show and everything. Yes, and then we're gonna have their team and him and Nacho and everyone kind of hype it up and shit. And
so what are all the strain names?
So we're dropping it's a Tiger Mints, which is a Kush Mints cross we have. We're doing a Baskins. And then we're doing, what was the third one, Nacho?
I thought it was a cat?
The Meloncello.
Meloncello.
My bad. I should have had that. I'm lit. So we had the Meloncello, the Baskins, and the Tiger Mints.
Right.
And so those are, I think mainly it's going to be in the LA area. Okay. They're going to drop a lot down in Los Angeles and shit, but it'll be fun, yeah. And I think we're going to do some like fun little pop-ups and some demo days and shit like that, and just having fun, bro.
Well,
it'll be cool.
Hopefully you can sprinkle a little in Sacramento. That'd be dope.
Oh, you already know. We got Nacho up here.
Yeah,
but it'll be fun. And then hopefully one day he'll get out of prison and fucking he'll get to smoke some of our weed and shit.
Right,
That'd be cool.
right.
Yeah.
It's just
That's
fun,
what
dude.
we-
You know, like
We're looking forward to it. Joe. Where you at, Joe?
Get better. I
Watch
think
this,
he's
Joe.
got cancer, right? Or they're saying that he has cancer and he's in jail. Well, that's
For real?
I'm sorry to take that morbid, but
oh shit.
sorry about that.
sorry,
But yeah,
Joe.
I saw that on I think Vice or TMZ. I don't know.
Yeah, I have no connection with the guy personally.
Right.
We did meet
Okay.
his power of attorney, and I forget the lady's name. She's super cool, older lady, and that's his best friend.
Cool.
So she has control
that's
of all
cool.
of his money and everything, and she kind of is the shot caller for him while he's behind bars.
Well,
and so
she's-
that's who we're coordinating kind of through him and this other group. They'll come to us, and then she answers questions, and we're all kind of in cahoots through like group messages and things like that. But
nice.
yeah, it'll be
That's
fun.
awesome.
It'll
very,
be cool, dude.
very cool,
Yeah.
bro.
So we have
For
that
sure.
going. We've had talks with some other people that we've been working with. A lot of it I'm still kind of keeping under wraps. But to be honest, like in the past, I've done a lot of this and I've helped build other brands. And a lot of times in the end of the day, it's good for someone else and it's not so good for me. So this moving into 2022, we're going to kind of focus more on exotic flavors.
Doom,
And
doom, doom. This
we
is
have
where
a
Nacho
couple
comes in, baby.
other small
Hell
brands
yeah.
we're gonna do some small collabs with and drops and things like that. But the Joe Exotic definitely is the next one we have coming up. And besides that, we're just gonna play it by ear. You know, we're just making this up as we go, having fun.
That's fucking awesome.
If it's not fun, we don't want to do it, dude. Like
Agreed.
Might as well enjoy
you
yourself.
don't,
while
you're not
doing
gonna it. make money and be successful if you're not enjoying yourself. So we're just trying
Facts.
to
That's
find what
facts.
works for us and what we enjoy doing. And
Let
Yeah,
them know
man.
about our new strains, boss. What we got? What we
Yeah.
got coming for the end of 2021?
oh shit! So
What are they?
we do have some new ones on the menu. We have our Bambino, which is dropping for the first time, hopefully by the end of this month, which is
Secret cut. Secret
it's that
cut.
dope
purple
look.
gas. It's that purple gas.
Nice.
We have our cartel cut coming back again. We finally got our new strain specific
right,
packaging, and then we have our apple mac and our mac coming out. And that's we just took last year the Feast of Flowers, which is a Southern Humboldt grow off, which like all the local Southern Humboldt farms kind of compete in like a little local competition.
That's dope,
And
dude. I've
we
never heard of that
Yeah,
before.
the Feast of Flowers. We took first place with that cut last year, so
That's
we're
sick.
bagging that up and shit. And we're bringing back the honeydew because that's kind of a staple for us.
Oh yeah.
And we got a lot of new shit coming for next year. We have our Point Break dropping, which is like a Tropicana cookie.
That's a great one.
The
dude.
Point
That's
Break's
not
fire,
a lot of
dude.
people do. I haven't
So
seen
another
that in a
collab we
lot.
have dropping. Are you guys familiar with Cannadip?
Yeah.
So the Cannadip company. So we're doing a collab with them. We're dropping in like 30 states.
Okay.
We're doing the Point Break collab with Cannadips and shit. So
30 states.
we
Is
did.
that like a
badass.
tobacco dip style?
It's low THC.
basically?
They do CBD and shit, and
Oh,
they
cool.
they pull our terpenes out of it.
Oh, okay.
So they use our terpenes
It's
for
a little
CBD.
pouch?
Yeah,
Oh,
they're
sick.
lip. They're
Cool.
check them
like
out.
a little dip.
Cannadips.
Cool. Yeah,
They're-
I think I just saw them on a menu. Like
They're the
for,
homies, so they
distro.
came
They're
up.
the boys.
They came up about a month ago with Dallas Braden, who's the announcer for the Oakland A's. He's
Oh, yeah.
the pitcher,
Cool.
and they brought Dontrell Willis up, and
Dope.
they've been bringing up some MLB guys, and they're super cool just in helping like smaller farms like us. You know, what I mean, I'm not saying we're small, but like kind of no one's in the industry at this point until they've gone on a national level. So they're helping
Yeah.
guys that are limited to California kind of get out of the area, and
That's
they're
cool.
the homies, yeah, for sure.
That's
Oh, that's
very
awesome.
cool, man.
Yeah.
And it's just
Cannadips.
cross market, you know. It's getting ourselves out of just a flower, you know what I mean. Getting into some other shit, and we work with like Calibis with live resin extracts and things like that. And
I heard a lot of
Yeah.
good things about Cali.
Cali Blaze is
bro.
the homie, bro. That's how I
Yeah.
actually met Nacho right here. Shout out Cali
cool.
Blaze, the
Shout out
homie.
Big Blaze, yo.
Oh yeah,
Definitely.
Cali's since day one, bro. He's always helped us and shouted us out, and you know, helped point us in the right direction and shit, you know. And he's
good.
someone that we've always worked with, and there's a lot of people. I'm probably forgetting some, but like it's been this is our 6th year of legal weed. You know what I mean? So we've ran through a lot. We've seen a lot of people come and go.
Network.
There's been a lot of
Yeah.
smoke and mirrors, a lot of bullshit, but we're still here.
Facts.
Dope, dog. Any
Oh,
plans
man.
for expansion?
Yeah, so right now, like with the industry being where it is with pricing and everything, like we're making money, but it's not like 3 years ago where I'm trying to go through millions of dollars at another property. We've been really lucky though, in just like our work ethic is showing to other people, and so we've been having other farms kind of. I mean, this week we picked up another couple farms. These people coming saying, "Hey, the production, really getting their cost of production is really hard for a lot of people."
Yeah.
So
Right.
we've just been
That's
picking
hard.
up farms on either lease agreements or just like equity splits or whatever. But
big strategies.
Yeah, it's for me. It's like not even trying to sound arrogant, but I got to be making money. You know, this is cool, and obviously this is fucking what I want to do. But if it don't make dollars, it don't make sense.
Yeah,
and everything we do has got to make money.
Yeah, you can't do I don't your mean passion to sound, if it's not paying you.
Yeah, bro. And I don't want to sound arrogant, but I like making money and shit. And so that is what that is like what we're trying to show all these other farms, like, hey, there's still money to be made in here. You know what I mean? If you do it right.
But at the same time, not to cut you off, I feel like you still have a reasonable price to the consumer for wanting to make money.
Because we are the source. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but that's still cool because I mean, I feel like you could charge more than what.
But I want it to be affordable.
But that's what I mean. That's cool. Well, you still like money quicker, and you make it affordable.
Before weed was legal, I was always good at selling packs because I would watch people sit on pounds or trying to make 2 points on a pound or 3 points, and I would just try and make $25-$50 a unit, whatever, and I would move through volume faster than other people because I'm not so worried about making that top dollar. Yeah, moving through volume kind of is where it's worked for me.
Yeah, no, and that's a great point.
Overcharging, and if I can produce this for a good price, I'm going to get it to the consumer for a good price.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. Never let it sit. Let it move.
Love.
Yeah. There's certain strains that you're going to pay more because they have a lower return for us. Yeah, the Birkins is one of the most. That's the hardest strain for us to grow at the lowest yields. Yeah. That's going to be the most expensive to the consumer. But if I can do it affordably, you're going to get it affordably.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Like Shotball said, affordable fire.
Yeah, affordable fire. That's right. The mid Xotics, bro.
That's badass.
No, that's great. That's fucking cool.
Well, we're gonna end, but we're gonna do one thing that we've done it before at our previous episode. It's 10 questions. It's from the hip.
Okay.
Just quick little answers.
I just gotta spit off answers, or
well, this is for people to get to know you a little more personally.
Let's do it.
So, what's your favorite movie?
Oh my god!
We always do it after we're on.
Shit!
From the hip.
Shit! I'm trying to even think. Fucking let's go with Step Brothers.
Cool.
I love Will Ferrell.
That's a great.
No, right mind. Pineapple Express. I can watch that movie. Pineapple Express is my favorite.
That's actually a fantastic movie.
I could every time I see it, you'll find. All right, next one, go.
What's your favorite gas station snack?
Jerky.
Cool. What's your favorite strain of all time?
Cartel Cut.
Nice. Who's your favorite artist or band of all time?
Artist or band? Oh shit! I listen to a lot. I listen to a lot of Burner. I listen to a lot of Lil Baby. I listen to a lot of country though too. I'm not gonna lie. I listen to a lot of Morgan Wallen, Jason Aldean, Luke Combs.
Right.
Not what you'd expect.
Okay.
I'd probably
70%
country music. Honestly, nice. I listen to a lot of Jason Aldean. That's probably my favorite.
Okay. There it is. What's your favorite season?
Summer, baby. Come on.
What's your favorite way to smoke?
Bongs only.
Nice. Who's your biggest inspiration?
My dad.
Nice. Cool. Who's your favorite brand besides your own?
None. I got a couple. I have a homie. I have my boy with the Turp Mansion, Luke, up there. He does it really good. Cool. The Emerald Kid. You have Honeydew Farms is my neighbor. Much respect to Alex Moore. Those guys have been killing it since just as long, even longer than me. Honeydew Farms. My boy Manny, Humboldt Xotics up there in Fortuna, they kill it. He's always been a good player in the game. There's a few, dude, but it's very, very few. There's a few people and those 3 people I listed, there's a few other I'm forgetting, but like the amount of people I actually respect in this industry is very, very few.
What is the best advice you can give another brand coming up?
Work hard and grow your own weed.
Nice. What's the best advice anyone has ever told you?
Work hard and grow your own weed.
Boom. Well, that was an awesome show, man. Thank you so much for coming through. We really appreciate it.
That was hella fun.
Taking the time, coming out.
Can't wait to have you back and see.
I can't wait to have you guys up at the farm next.
Oh, we're coming, bro.
Come on.
We're so coming.
Come up. Yeah, it'll be fun. All of you guys come up.
What's you guys' Instagram handle?
Website, we be getting fucked with, obviously, by IG like everyone. We're running our backup page, which is just Xotic Flavors. No dashes, no underscores. It's XOTICFLAVORZ at Instagram.
Okay.
Yep.
Website?
So we have a new one we just dropped. It's xfworldwide.com.
Nice.
Yeah, it's on to the finalization of the kind of our launch. So we're still a little bit under construction, but we'll be getting it out.
Cool.
xfworldwide.com. So
And I think actually we're gonna be working with the homies down here at Calibis on getting some of the shit printed out, getting some of the
yes, sir.
Get some
hat,
swag
some
going.
merch,
some Calibis hoodies, all that shit.
That's what's up. Well, thank everybody at home for listening, paying attention, and soaking up game
episode
today.
8.
Episode 8. And remember to like, subscribe, comment. Tell us what you think. We appreciate you guys. We love you guys. Take care. Peace out.
Peace. Thank you guys.